What if I told you that the key to negotiation is not compromise, but instead, mastering empathy and psychological tactics? Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss is more than just a guide. It's a complete reframe on how to handle negotiations in every area of life. Voss, a former FBI hostage negotiator, shares techniques that helped him negotiate high-stakes situations. Today, I'll walk you through the lessons from this book that transformed how I approach communication and influence. Chris Voss didn't learn negotiation from classrooms, he learned it from handling life-or-death situations. When lives are at stake, splitting the difference just isn't an option. This philosophy is the heart of Never Split the Difference. In this video, we'll explore key tactics and real-life examples from the book, each showing how powerful negotiation tactics can turn any conversation in your favor. Let's dive in. The first tactic is tactical empathy, which Voss explains as the foundation of all effective negotiations. Tactical empathy means understanding the emotions of the person across from you, validating their feelings, and using that understanding to create trust. This doesn't mean you agree with them, it means you see their perspective. In one memorable example from the book, Voss describes a bank robbery where hostages were taken. Instead of aggressively demanding the captor's surrender, Voss's team focused on understanding the robber's emotional state. The negotiator used phrases like, "It seems like you're feeling cornered right now," and "It sounds like you're looking for a way out." By reflecting the robber's emotions back to them, the team de-escalated the situation, eventually leading to a safe outcome without a single life lost. Another case involved a standoff with a distraught father holding his own children hostage. Instead of focusing on demands, Voss and his team concentrated on calming the man down by validating his frustrations. Phrases like, "It sounds like you're overwhelmed," and "It seems like you're carrying a lot," helped the man feel understood. This connection led him to eventually release his children without force. Empathy allowed Voss to diffuse the situation, showing how understanding someone's pain can pave the way for a peaceful resolution. One of the most counterintuitive lessons in Never Split the Difference is the importance of no. Voss argues that no isn't a rejection, it's an opportunity to understand what's holding someone back. Rather than forcing a yes, Voss says you should invite no as a way to get to the heart of the issue. Take Voss's story of negotiating with a kidnapping gang. When he reached out to the captors, he didn't demand answers but encouraged them to say no by asking questions like, "Would it be ridiculous to want proof of life before proceeding further?" The kidnappers felt a sense of control by being able to say no, which made them more open to negotiate. In another scenario, Voss talks about using no in business negotiations. When negotiating a consulting contract, instead of pushing the other party to agree immediately, he asked questions like, "Would it be unreasonable to explore other potential solutions?" Or, "Does it make sense to discuss different budget options?" These no-inviting questions reassured the client that they had control over the situation, making them feel more comfortable with exploring the negotiation openly. By allowing no as an option, Voss secured a better outcome that satisfied both parties. The third powerful tactic is mirroring and labeling. Mirroring is simply repeating the last few words someone said, making them feel listened to and encouraging them to elaborate. For example, if someone says, "This project seems overwhelming," you can respond with, "Overwhelming," which encourages them to open up more about their challenges. Labeling is about naming the emotions you sense in the other person. For instance, Voss once used this technique when negotiating with a man who was extremely upset during a hostage crisis. Voss said, "It seems like you're frustrated by this situation," which helped lower the man's guard and open the door for constructive dialogue. In a corporate setting, Voss helped a company manager who struggled to communicate with an unhappy team. Voss coached him to label emotions openly by saying, "It seems like some of you feel left out of the decision-making process." By labeling the team's unspoken frustrations, the manager created a space for open dialogue. Mirroring and labeling allowed the team to feel seen and led to more honest communication. One of the most unique tactics Voss uses is the accusation audit. This involves proactively addressing any negative assumptions someone might have before they bring them up. It's about calling out the elephant in the room and showing you're aware of potential issues. In the book, Voss describes a situation where he was helping a client land a big contract, but they feared the other company viewed them as too inexperienced. To counteract this, Voss coached his client to begin by saying, "You probably think we're not capable of handling a project this big." This disarmed the potential objections the other party had, making them feel the client was open and honest. Another situation involved a medical supplier who worried about their reputation after experiencing a delay. Voss advised them to address it directly with, "You might feel we've let you down with the delay." By bringing up this concern preemptively, the supplier showed accountability and sincerity, which reassured the client and helped rebuild trust. Lastly, there's the black swan concept. Voss explains that a black swan is an unknown piece of information that can completely change the outcome of a negotiation. These hidden facts often reveal themselves through careful listening and asking the right questions. For example, in one hostage case, Voss's team discovered a black swan when they learned the captor was deeply religious. Using this information, they appealed to the captor's sense of right and wrong, and it shifted the entire negotiation in their favor. In a business negotiation, Voss uncovered a black swan when he found out that the other party's main concern was not price, but timing. Knowing this, he could propose an adjusted timeline that suited both parties, which ultimately secured the deal. The lesson here is to stay curious and open. You never know what crucial insight might turn a negotiation around. The use of silence. Silence can be powerful in negotiations, providing a pause that prompts the other person to fill it with more details. In hostage negotiations, Voss often used silence to let the other party feel the weight of their words, giving them space to reconsider their stance. In one instance, Voss was negotiating with a kidnapper who had made aggressive demands. Instead of responding immediately, Voss paused and allowed the silence to create tension, forcing the kidnapper to fill the void. This led to a breakthrough when the kidnapper softened his stance and agreed to new terms. The importance of why. Understanding someone's why, their motivation or reasoning, is central to Voss's approach. When handling hostage situations, he'd ask captors, "Why are you doing this?" This question often uncovered motivations that allowed for a more strategic response. In one hostage situation, Voss asked the captors, "Why are you doing this?" And they revealed that their actions stemmed from fear and desperation. By understanding their underlying motivations, Voss was able to propose a solution that alleviated their fears and led to a peaceful resolution. Anchoring emotions. Anchoring emotions sets a tone, preventing escalation. Voss explains that by keeping calm at the start of a negotiation, you maintain control, creating an environment where the other party feels safe to share. In a high-stakes negotiation with a terrorist group, Voss anchored the conversation with a calm tone, showing no sign of aggression. This initial control over emotions set the stage for a more productive discussion, with the captors gradually lowering their defenses. Using calibrated questions. Calibrated questions guide discussions without demanding a yes or no answer. Voss used questions like, "How am I supposed to do that?" to push captors to think about solutions rather than making demands. In a negotiation with a hijacker, Voss used the question, "How do you want to resolve this situation?" This question forced the hijacker to take responsibility for the outcome and consider alternatives to his original demands, leading to a safer resolution for all involved. Controlled tone of voice. Voss emphasizes a calm, respectful tone even in tense situations to maintain control and reduce defensiveness. In negotiations, this steady tone prevents emotional reactions and keeps the conversation productive. In one particularly tense negotiation, Voss deliberately lowered his voice, speaking slowly and calmly. This controlled tone made the captors feel like they were in charge of the situation, but it also subtly conveyed Voss's confidence and control, allowing him to navigate the conversation without escalating tension. Empathy over aggression. Voss shows that empathy is more effective than aggression in negotiations. By validating the other person's perspective, you create a rapport that allows them to feel understood, reducing hostility. In a situation with an armed hostage taker, Voss showed empathy by acknowledging the captor's emotional distress. Instead of threatening or escalating, he used phrases like, "I understand you're frustrated," and "It sounds like you're afraid." This empathetic approach led to a breakthrough, with the captor agreeing to release the hostages without further conflict. So what does never split the difference teach us about negotiation? It's not about compromise, it's about understanding and mastering the psychology behind decisions. By using tactical empathy, understanding the power of no, mastering mirroring and labeling, performing an accusation audit, and hunting for black swans, we can turn even the most challenging negotiations into favorable outcomes. Whether it's in business or everyday conversations, these tools empower us to connect deeply and communicate effectively. If this video helped you think differently about negotiation, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment on which book I should dive into next. Remember, negotiation is not about settling, it's about connecting and finding a way forward. Thank you for joining me today. See you all next time.